What's going on, everybody? No Life Wood back here once again, and it has been a while since I've uploaded a video, but I'm back, and Anime Last Stand has some problems that I feel like nobody's really addressing, and while the game has 60,000 players and is very popular, I actually feel like it's not in as good of a state as everybody on the outside might think it is, and I feel like I need to talk about it. I played Anime Last Stand on release and played it for about 2 or 3 months and made content on it, but then I had kind of a burnout, but also I was really dissatisfied with the old dev team and what they were doing, and I took a 1-year break. I came back in April of this year, which is going to be about 2 months ago, and I was about to come to y'all singing the greatest of praises. I was having so much fun with the game, everything felt new, the quality of life was amazing, and it was better than its competitors. But then something happened. I'm sure you guys know, the reroll nerf. Now listen, I'm all for trying to keep your game balanced, keep the bots out, keep the macroers not too fluent, because that's how a game like Anime Defenders happens and dies. However, this kind of pulled me out of my pseudo honeymoon phase and got me to look at the game for what it really was. And it kind of has some issues. First, I want to read the exact message that Brandon posted when he nerfed the infinite rewards. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of talk about infinite rewards being nerfed, so let me clear things up. In this update, we fixed a bug that caused wave rewards to be the same every run. Wave rewards were always intended to be randomized, with each wave giving you a chance, X%, to receive certain rewards. Why? This fix was not a shadow nerf, and while we could have penalized those who abused the bug, we decided not to because it was our oversight. That said, as someone who used to be a player myself, I completely understand why some of you are upset. More than anything, I love you guys, which is why even though you guys are complaining about not being able to abuse a bug, here's a limited time code to make you feel like a champ. And then he has a 50 reroll code. Don't ever forget how much I love you all. Nerfing rewards is one thing, but then lying about it is a completely separate thing. I don't understand why we're trying to masquerade this as some type of bug that has been in the game for months and we just didn't know it was there when we finally fixed it. Here's the thing that I need you guys to understand. Anime Last Stand is a business. The developers are acutely aware of how much their resource distribution is at all times. Why? Because that's how they make their money. They need you to buy the bundles, they need you to spend money on the trait rerolls, and their sales are going to impact how much players are doing that based on how much they need them. And how much they need them is going to be dependent upon how much they get it from other sources. So they knew that that was in the game, they just decided to nerf it for whatever reason and lie about it. I honestly think it's an insult to the community, and I think a bunch of people agree, because if you go to the suggestions tab for when the nerf actually happened, you can scroll down and see all the suggestions. Inf nerf, revert the nerf, why is this happening? It's weekly updates, so why are you nerfing rerolls while expecting us to get good traits on 4, 5, 6 new units every single week? Speaking of every week, let's talk about these weekly updates for a second. In my opinion, they're killing the game. Players don't have enough time to grind the necessary rerolls to roll something good on all of the new units. Now, in any other tower defense game, this would be the standard. You can't expect to get an amazing trait on every single unit, but in Anime Last Stand, there's 4 to 6 new units every single week whose entire job is to replace the previous units. If you're not rolling Avatar or higher with a legendary enchant on a unit, then you're probably not going to be using them for very long. And some of the players are feeling this too, which is why between the update cycles, which are 1 week periods by the way, the game sees a fall off of 10 to 20,000 players. Only the godly units are worth spending your resources on, and even then, they can fall out of usefulness just as quickly, and that's why all the suggestions are asking for them to be buffed. Now, what most players are doing right now to get their rerolls, besides AFKing the raid mode, is by clearing out their shops on each and every reset. But it doesn't help that each and every shop, the rerolls that you can buy are marked up to what they typically are. So let me tell you what I mean, right? If we go to the shop here and we scroll all the way up, These are the typical bundles that they want you to buy. For 10,000 Robux, you can get 750 rerolls and 50 Dusk Pearls. So if we do the math on this and we look at the comparison between these two, they're valuing one pearl at about 15 rerolls. So every pearl should be worth about 15 rerolls, and the value between those two should be equal. However, if we teleport over to the raid and we open up the dungeon shop and we go to just a quick, and then we scroll down and we check it, as you can see, each pearl here is worth 100 of these coins, right? But if we do the math, that's 15 technique shards, that's 150 coins. That's not the right value. It should both be 100, but as you can see, the technique shard is marked up by 50. It's marked up because you're earning these with your time, not your money. They want you to spend as much time as possible, and you're spending more time than you should be spending clearing out all these shops because it's literally marked up. I really do believe that Anime Last Stand should switch to bi-weekly updates, and that's not just for the player's sake, but for the developer's sake too. Let's take a look at one of their update trailers that they drop for every weekly update that they do. These animations look god awful, and the models for units that aren't headlining are mediocre at best. And this isn't a dig at any of the developers because it's genuinely not their fault. Understand that the developers are aware that 90% of their players have animations off at all times, and that the game is being played at 3 times speed. Picture how you would feel working on a product knowing that 90% of the consumers aren't even paying attention to it, and that it'll mostly be forgotten because there's a new update next week that's going to rush all the old stuff out. It's why every update feels like the same old grind, because there's no time to effectively innovate when you're on a weekly schedule. It's also why the quality is so much worse next to Anime Vanguard's, despite the fact that with a little more time, they could easily rival Anime Vanguard's quality and convert more players permanently to Anime Last Stand. All of this is because of Brandon, the owner of the game. His approach to game design is to be as formulaic as possible with little innovation or creativity. It's the very definition of quantity over quality, and it doesn't work. If you need proof, go look at Brandon's other game. A One Piece game has been releasing the same type of updates for a straight year, and their player base has dwindled down to 1.5 thousand from its former heights of 10 or even 15,000. Yes, it will keep your game alive, but it's going to starve your player base, and they're going to run off when the next big competition releases. I am a player that's come back to the game recently and has found something to love and has stopped playing because the game mechanics and the developer decisions have led me to believe that what I'm doing, if I'm just playing for fun, is not worth my time. And I genuinely think that every issue that I mentioned in this video could be completely fixed if they switch to bi-weekly updates. It would fix the power creep because there's more time in between these updates and it wouldn't be so bad on the players. It would fix the lack of quality in animation and models because the developers have more time to work on it and can therefore increase the scope of what they're trying to make. And I think if they really adhered to this bi-weekly quality increase and listened to player suggestions, they wouldn't have to update weekly in fear of the game dropping all of its players when there's not a new hype update out like they do now. Like the game drops 10 to 20 players in between update cycles because the players aren't engaged. And I think that if they make this decision, they could absolutely fix it and increase the lifespan of the game so that it doesn't end up like a One Piece game, releasing random anime updates every specific period of time just to only pull in the super dedicated players and nobody else. Well, anyways, y'all, that is going to be all for me. I know it's been a while, but it's the first upload back and we're trying to get consistent. We're back. No more one-year breaks. We're back on the content grind. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications, all that. Leave a comment if you got something to say, because I always like, responding to every comment. But that's all from me. I love you all, and I will see you on the next one.